I am so excited right now because before we break for lunch, we have a very special performance. And Steve, come on up and you can get settled here. I'm going to introduce you to Steve Schalchlin, who is just really an amazing guy. His songs have played off-Broadway, in symphony halls, temples around the world. He's the winner of BroadwayWorld.com's Editor's Choice Songwriter of the Year in 2015. To me, he should be Songwriter of the Year every year, and you'll know why after you hear him. He's well known for his off-Broadway musicals written with his partner Jim Brochu, including The Last Session, which garnered nominations from the New York Drama League and the Outer Circles Critic Award. He won the LA Drama Critics Circle winner, Best Musical Score. He's just a delightful human being, and I could listen to his music and his songs all day long. So thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. Since we're talking about alternative therapies, the best kind of alternative therapy in my mind is a good laugh. So this song, Cheryl asked for this song, and it came, New York is a very strange place because you're walking up and down the aisles of apartment buildings, and you might hear the strangest conversations. So one day I was walking down, I heard this couple, and they were kind of arguing, and finally the woman just had it up to here. And she looked at him and said, "I'd rather be naked in the freezing rain, swimming with some killer sharks, swallowing a poison pill, getting mugged in city parks, sailing in an iceberg float, clubbing little baby seals, sliding down a razor blade, sharing someone's prison meals, vacationing in Syria, then having to explain myself to you. Then having to explain myself to you. I'd rather be shooting up in Sunday school, tearing cats and dogs apart, diving on a hand grenade, smelling someone else's fart, drowning in an acid bath, milking angry tiger tits, doing college level math, cut up into little bits, vacationing in Syria, then having to explain myself to you. You say you want to talk, but then I find you drifting off. 'Cause you think you know what I am trying hard to say. But if you never listen, then this whole thing is a sham. And I'm not really in the mood to play. I'd rather be drinking sour dinner wine, jumping on a hornet's nest, barefoot in a cactus bed, see my mom and dad undressed. Underneath an avalanche, roasting in an open fire, watching basic cable news, wear a burning rubber tire, vacationing in Syria, then having to explain myself to you. I'd rather sip a cocktail in some Molotov cafe, drive a car in countryside, patrol by army drones, volunteer for ISIS just to pass the time of day, anything to make you go away. I'd rather see Donald Duck as president, Kim Jong-un in underpants, stuck inside a spider web, neck deep in some killer ants, eating worms and vomit sauce, sizzling in an acid rain, amputating body parts, run down by a speeding train, vacationing in Syria, then having to explain myself to you. Vacationing in Syria, then having to explain myself to you. Darling, I love you, but it's true. It's like vacationing in Syria with you. I have an unusual story in the fact that in 1994, I was diagnosed with full-blown AIDS. There was no cure or anything that was available on the market, and I had a terrible time in the hospital. I almost died several times. And when I came back out, I was basically a walking skeleton. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't hardly walk. And so after a little while, I was trying to deal with all of these emotions. And so I for the first time in maybe a year or so, I was able to sit up and go to the piano. And I started to play my favorite big chords, churchy chords. I was just playing these chords, and I played all day long, all day long. I just kept playing this music. And if I had built myself up to like 60% of energy over that year, when I woke up the next day after playing the piano, my energy level was at 95%. It was a measurable, incredible change. And I think this is about stress. I think this is about cleansing your body with vibrations and energy and all of that stuff to flush out the poisons that are not chemical, or that maybe sometimes even are chemical as a result of all that stress. I also think sometimes we look at ourselves and we don't see our true selves. There's a lot more beauty inside than we give ourselves credit for. And this is, I'm only doing one more song, so you all can go eat. But to think about this, okay? I watch you in the mirror as you trace your worry lines. You think you're not as beautiful as in our youthful times. Well, believe me when I tell you, all those lines you think you see are tissue paper overlay, invisible to me. I only see your laughing eyes when love first stung. I only see you young. Remember how you tricked me into sharing that first kiss. I was way too shy to see the signals I had missed. Don't tell me you don't get it. I see how you look at me. I'm still the awkward juvenile who trips on his own feet. I still feel our first embrace that made us one. I only see you young. And even if there were some subtle flaw, it's woven in the fabric of the face I love most of all. And though I've loved you all these years, I've just begun. I only see you young. I only see you young. I only see us young.
Thank you, Steve. Bravo. Thank you. That song makes me cry every time I hear it. Thank you, Steve.